thousands of people collectively that we represent. There's something in the decorum of this body that says it's okay to call that a temper tantrum, to call people we disagree with on the issues, to say that all they want is attention. But I'll tell you what, I don't personally want attention. What I want is attention on the issue of gun violence. But instead, we're here with the resolution you put up talking about expelling me for advocating for ending gun violence in the state of Tennessee. I'd much rather be talking with you about legislation to protect Shelby County and to protect our communities than talking about why we don't deserve to have our representation lost because we came to the well of this house saying we've got to do something. That's what I would like to be doing. And so you brought attention or tried to bring attention to me, but I want to turn the attention to the people. The people who will never be able to throw a temper tantrum for gun violence. You know, the Valley Thorns, the Catherine Coates, the Mike Hills, the Cynthia Peaks, the Evelyn Decounts, the Haley Scruggs, the William Kidneys, who will never have a chance to throw what you call a temper tantrum.
Now you hear this?
For justice.
Listen to this man. See how he's talking behind the truth and making it sound so sweet about gun violence when the true issue of the matter is who's promoting the violence on these children, that it continues to happen in the rotation, that continues to happen over and over and over and over and over since the Biden administration took office. This gun violence has ramped up ever since, and it's the same thing. Now he's trying to make it out to be the fault of people who want to own guns. Listen carefully.
That was built on protest. An institution that was built on people throwing temper tantrums against injustice and what they viewed as injustice.
Yeah, tell that to the black people.
It isn't a temper tantrum to say that kids should actually go to schools that are safe. Neighborhoods
Who made them unsafe? Who made them unsafe? Gun violence didn't make it unsafe in the schools. This only started happening in itself over a period of time, in space and time, and then in 2020. And so we see the ramping of it with the demon Democrats in office. This is no more than another trick to me, just like it is today. You know what I'm saying? To where it's still coming out to show the increased violence or whatever's going on has its orchestration somewhere. The people must find out where.
I'm here because the people in District 86 asked that we might fight for justice against the status quo here. I'm here because we are subversive to the status quo. One that is young, one that is diverse,
and being brainwashed by the demon Democrats.
Have been operating that are not working. Because if they were working, those kids would be alive. Larry would be alive. People in our community.
See how they're using these scenarios as to use as an example to say that something needs to be done. Gun violence and gun violence should not have involved. They should not be using these kids as no token. And then when the Republicans say anything about it, they become the enemy of the situation. This is not about that.
I also told you that there was in no world a way that I thought that would lead to us being expelled from this house that we got elected into by our constituents.
Yeah, but you're working with the demon Democrats and you're coming with bull.
Ever thought that?
The deep state and shit.
That for
so you need to be expelled because that was your job to try to ram this down people's throat. So people must be defenseless. So if nobody has guns and they attack the schools, and we don't have no guns, how do we stop the perpetrator from that when the law that we saw took place what we saw took place? Excuse me, hold on 1 second.
To help create change, I know exactly why I'm doing that, and I know exactly why this resolution.
What we saw took place in Uvalde, and no one was there but the police, but the people still got hurt or shot or killed, because the police officers stood there and did absolutely nothing when their job is to show what they can do under the law of itself and not just sit back and wait for it to be over and then move in after the situation. That didn't look right, and you know it didn't. Second thing is now you see a consistency of the same violence over and over, but on school institutions now, as we see. So now we know that the Demon Democrats have some type of agenda to disarm the people, you know what I'm saying, and put us in a position that when we're attacked, we have no way of fighting back because all we have is makeshift weapons and our bare hands against tanks, guns, and all types of stuff. And then you're using AR-15s and these different weapons to show why you have to get rid of these guns. But if we're attacked by enemies, are you going to take their guns away and tell them that, or anybody else that's out here with a sick set of mind to go do some sick set of shit that we've seen since 2020, since the Biden administration, creepy ass, been in the commander and chief seat, to where we can see this consistent attack on the gun people, saying that the people that's being shot up in the neighborhood, what about the neighborhoods and the different neighborhoods where black people were being killed for many years by gun violence? You know what I'm saying? You never spoke on that. But now all of a sudden, to make it rampified, we're seeing it happening to schools. We as a people must stand up and form the People's Party. We must protect our children in these schools. If they're not going to do it, we cannot wait to just be disarmed in order to say now we're going to do something and that's going to solve the problem. Because if the people that you're trying to disarm don't have any guns, that have a rightful mind, wisdom, wise, and know how to do what they do, to the people who gets them illegally anyway, even after you put this law into place, and they still coming with guns, and there's nobody there with guns to defend. You know what I'm saying? Where did they get their gun from? Are you going to take the guns away from the crooked person that's running up into the school? I don't think so. You wait till after the match to show the damaging effect of what will happen if and so forth in a scenario of lives, of human lives, and then try to take it and use it against the Tennesseans and other people to say that they don't have no right to have a gun, such as with the NRA and all of this different stuff that they're spewing out their mouth. We must start to look at this more carefully. This is no more than a demon democratical trick. Of course, we see the ramping up of violence in the black community. Yes, we do. We see it in um, Chicago, which was mentioned by Donald Trump and many others. Lightfoot was a demon Democrat, deep state, blood-sucking bully. You know what I'm saying? So Lightfoot didn't do anything other than let it flow. And then when somebody say to do something about it, she didn't care. They give them less times, get out of the car, you murder, shoot a dude down in the street doing a gang and with some gold toots, and you shoot somebody and all this different shit. You only get 8 years, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that down there. This is what they were doing, and he right back out in 8 years to go do it again and join and be after the same shit. So a lot of this in Lightfoot in Washington D.C., the murder rate has been crazy for years in Washington D.C. We don't see nobody speak about that. Chicago, Philly, and many other places, even where I grew up in the United States Virgin Islands at one point, had got that way. So who's selling? Black people don't have no gun factory. And most of these people that buy guns don't have no gun factory. They have to buy the gun. So therefore, you know what I'm saying, who is promoting all these guns in the black community and other poor places of people have no guns. So you have innocent people being ran upon by people who have guns, and you're using this now in some kind of scenario to do with the schools. So now you want to bring it to the extreme, but you're doing it at the cost of people's lives. Black people and people in white America who know have some sense and know that you must be able to defend yourself from foreign and domestic. You know what I'm saying? In the Constitution, have a right to do so, must now use the Constitution to rectify this situation. So we must do something to make this stop. We cannot keep waiting for our kids to be shot up in a school over some political glory show for the demon Democrats to make it seem like it's so serious and give these bullshit speech like that guy gave in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? As we see, you know. But
in addition to Gloria Johnson.
But we see what's going on here. So we have to start looking at this thing from a better perspective. There's no way we're going to sit here.
Very proud. They should be very, very proud. And an update to the story.
You know what I'm saying? But we're going to let that go because that's really, you know what I'm saying, the little clip that I wanted to play as to show you the passionate speech of a demon Democrat in its full glory of its trickery, and then having the fuel to back up and make it passionate, you know what I'm saying, compassionate. You see how they use the truth to manipulate your mind to get you to go in the direction that they want you to go in, but not looking at the full aspect of range that can be a scenario that costs even more lives or even the capture of our country in a full defenseless mode, such as what we saw with the Grecian formula. So we still don't know what that truly will turn out to be because we still don't see what it truly did for people who were already in great condition. But at the same time, we still have to look at the gun control. We cannot have people disarming us and telling us this and telling that because there is nobody in the rightful mind. Even people in the black community do not run up in schools necessarily talking gang stuff and shoot up the schools. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So this is coming from a different side of the community because majority of the people who are doing it from time to time are Caucasian. So we know there's more to this story than meets the eye. And this is where the people have to form the People's Party as a third party in there, and it should have been a first party, you know what I'm saying, in every state, you know what I'm saying, to where you're able to challenge everything coming from both sides, the Democratic side and the Republican side. It should not only be one-sided, and then when the one-sided decide they want to take over the world and the bullshit, you know what I'm saying, like Mr. Newgame was talking about, you know what I'm saying, and Peter King, you know, and take over the world, you want to demonize the whole other side and cause all types of scenarios such as we've seen even with 9/11 and Tony Blair and even Afghanistan, and even what Biden did on the Afghanistan withdrawal. We must start to look at these things. We are paying attention to just the front door. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes knocking on your front door, then you're going to decide, well, oh shit, and it's too late then. You must start to look at the world as a whole in a global aspect of understanding. And even in these issues of gun laws, and many other policies and laws that are being written, while they're forcing and got your mind distracted on this policy that should already have been taken care of and out of the question, you know what I'm saying, and the security that needs to be put into place and the measures that need to be put into place in all schools because now the demon Democrats has raised the bar. So we must now begin to do for ourselves what they're not doing for us, only to the fact of de-arming ourselves. So I guess China could attack us and we won't even know because they already done came to the border and already here planning this and hanging out and building homes over there and buying land and all kinds of shit and storing their people up. So when the great attack comes, we are completely defensive and stupid, looking at each other like two buck dummy. Like when you walk in a Walmart and these different stores and stuff, they're looking at you like as if, you know what I'm saying, you come here up blue or whatever, you see, yeah, but you should be definitely in there as an employee because this shit can come your way. You know what I'm saying? They see, like they say, what goes around comes around, and you got to start to understand that. So while you playing fool now and acting stupid, and then it comes around, then you want to tell somebody, oh yeah, you were right, and blah. I don't want to hear that shit. It is not even gloriful, nor do I want any glory off of some garbage like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What good is that when the damage already done to the point where we are in a position where we have no retreat or return back to where it was or move forward in a greater light because now that light has been distorted by wicked beast individuals and their trickery games. You know what I'm saying? Point Black is not with that. We have to start paying more close attention to every scrutinized thing that is possibly about and look at every corner of aspect. If you're going to talk about gun laws, we have to look at every single aspect of the gun laws based on understanding. Gun laws are one thing to take away people's guns, but where's the security for the school? You still ain't speaking about ramping up true security of the school. Like I mentioned in one of my lives before, my other video, you know what I'm saying, where I talked about there should be officers, people there that are inconspicuous, that the school children do not even know is there. You know what I'm saying? And they must be trained to the fullest of their ability in a situation of any attack on the school and be constantly vigilant, watching and looking and ready to jump into action. You know what I'm saying? They're not talking about any of that. We're not talking, and even inside the school as well, there must be a guy or security or officer or a patrol who's trained who is working for to protect our schools and have the governmental power behind him, and he's inside the school acting and probably as a teacher. He don't have to let the kids know who he is. That he could be a substitute teacher, could be, but that's there's camouflage as to the security in the school, and you have two, three of those spread out throughout the school, that stay in correspondence with each other, and the children do not know, especially in the elementary level, that that's what they do. I'm saying? All things are concealed weapons of war that the kids don't see, but it is there, I'm saying, in case of need, and there are substitute teachers that are there, acting as such. I don't hear them talking none of this type of security measure, but you're always talking about taking away all American guns from the American people. This is garbage, people, and we need to pay attention, because one thing we do not want to do is like they're doing, creepy Joe Biden and them got two borders open, and even our back door in Canada wide open, and every place wide open 90 miles from the border, and I had people crossing and millions, and say they let 100 million Chinese come through the southern border overnight, and they got all the cartel, and everybody's coming over here, and then you're talking about de-arming the American people. Something don't make sense here, and we need to examine it. This is Point Black saying you need to get it right, and we're going to fight. There ain't no stopping us tonight. Let's get it together, people, and be more stronger in our ways. So this is Point Black saying, this is PBNN, Point Black, National News, the latest and great edition, and the Getaway edition again on the comment. 1.